Good morning, my name's Andrew Willocks. I'm horticultural specialist here at RHS Garden Harlow Carr. This morning I'm going to demonstrate air layering of rhododendrons. So first of all, we have to identify the branch that we are going to propagate from. This ranges from at least pencil thickness up to finger thickness really. We're also looking for a branch that slightly drops down so that when the water starts to irrigate, and this air layer is going to be on the plant for at least 2 years, we've got to make sure it's self-watering, so when it does rain, the water will fall under the stem and start to irrigate the wound in the plastic bag, and then excess water will come out. So it needs to facilitate water in to the air layer and get rid of the excess water as well. Also, it's quite important to take into consideration your plants, because there's no use just propagating off one layer that has got one shoot, because this layer is going to be on the plant for at least 2 years. So there's a chance it could get snow damage and we could lose 1 or 2 of these shoots, or we could even get deer damage as well. So to make sure that we've got a really good strong shoot over the period of 2 years, we've chosen a stem here that's got at least 3 shoots on it, 3 really good strong shoots. So that enables us to guarantee at least in the next 2 years we've got at least 1 shoot ready to develop from that new root system. So next, make sure that you've cleaned your knife. That's very, very important, because we need to make sure that we're not spreading diseases, particularly things like Phytophthora. So we turn that up and we gently just scrape away. Very important to start with gentle scrapes. We don't want to wound the plant too much, so you're slowly but surely revealing the white pith, and then you'll all of a sudden get a combination of the white pith of the stem, and then you should be getting almost like a limey green around the edge of that pith, and that is the area that's going to hopefully produce plenty of roots. It's not a particularly long wound, but it's got to be quite substantial. So I'm getting now white pith in the middle and limey green around the edge, so we're not going too deep, and that looks perfect. So if I place that back down now, I can see that's directly under the stem, which is perfect. Next, this is a bit of a conjuring act. You get your compost, ericaceous compost, peat-free of course, slightly moist as well. This is quite important. We don't want to be putting on compost that's too wet or too dry, because this medium really does need to work for us right from the word go when we propagate. And you put that into the bag. Might be an idea to get probably a little bit more compost than you originally intend, because quite often we lose a bit of compost during this process. So we lift up and we place that around the wound. Gently just try and keep everything so that the compost is directly under the stem, so it's over the wound. And once we've got it fairly neat and tidy there, we place the first reusable cable tie, and we place this midsection of the wound, and this has to be quite tight to secure the compost over that wound. Then the next tie at the end, and this time not quite as tight as the midsection, because we want to allow for excess water that may build up around the layer to escape. And the same for the other end. So we don't want it quite as tight as the midsection, because we want to allow water to naturally irrigate the wound, the layer, during dry spells as well. So you create almost like a funnel effect either side. Finally, place a label on. Quite important, this today's date and also exactly 2 years down the line, the inspection date, and within 2 years' time there should be a well-established root system under that layer. And there we have an air-layered rhododendron. Hopefully in 2 years' time we'll be producing a really good strong plant. So here's an example of a rhododendron that we propagated 2 years down the line. This is Rhododendron seminoides from Yunnan and eastern Tibet, and immediately I'm checking into the middle of the layer to see if we've got a successful root system. And what we're feeling for is something rather firm and almost like a nut effect in the middle. And I can feel there is quite a substantial root system in there, so I'm quite confident we've got roots in there. So first of all, I'll remove the midsection cable tie. Goes to the second tie. And finally, the third tie. Okay, so now we carefully unwrap the midsection. And there we have it, a perfect root system that's developed over the last 2 years. So we'll take it off the plant, we'll make a cut with the secateurs down here and put that back on into the nursery into a 2-litre long tom pot and secure it with a stake, and then that should be ready to plant out into the garden the following year. Fairly decent plant you're getting, really. Far more substantial than you would from plants that may have been propagated from seed and cuttings that would perhaps take a little bit longer. And that's the process complete. This has been a short introduction into air layering rhododendrons. Thank you for watching and good luck.